Hello friends, my name is Katie from Eternal Flame, and today I thought I'd share with you a brief flip through of my 2021 bullet journal. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Thanks everyone. Alright, so this bullet journal was gifted to me by my dear friend Carly in December of 2020. So you will see that the dates included in this journal are from January 2021 into July/August of 2021. So it's not even a full year, but as you can see, it's very well loved and the binding is all bent out of shape. However, it held up pretty well, I would say, for all the stuff that I added. And it has like the Archer and Olive symbol on the little page markers. But I absolutely fell in love with this, so much so that I actually subscribed to their Archer and Olive's quarterly subscription box. Unfortunately, everything I've received from Archer and Olive through the subscription boxes have not been a normal white dot grid notebook from Archer and Olive. I think they try to, I guess, advertise for their newer products like gel pens, blackout notebooks, the craft paper. So I have bought more bullet journals from Archer and Olive. If you're interested in seeing them, please let me know in the comment section down below. I will definitely be more than happy to share that haul with you, but this is actually the only one that I've worked out of the many that I've purchased. All right, so let's get started. So I tried to tab out a few of the spreads that I can just go over with you guys today. But basically this was my very first bullet journal and it was not meant to be shared on the worldwide internet. So there's some information that I tried to, I guess, blur out, or some pages that I will be skipping. Also, it's very big. So the first thing I did when I set out my bullet journal was watch a bunch of videos and set up a key that I thought would work best for me. Basically, it was just a journaling card that a friend gave me, same friend, and I put in my name and some stickers, and I basically used like a tracing paper, I think, to put on top of it and to draw my key. So I really love this. I made it removable using washi tape, thinking that I can transfer it to my second half of the year when I switched bullet journals, but I actually never ended up really doing that. Right. So the first spread I have here is also related to my setup. As you can see, I didn't read more. And so I only have one book on the shelf that I read, and it was a very, very short book. Happy by Design. I loved it because it was full of I guess, tips and tricks for design and home decor, which was really my main theme for, I guess, 2021 and COVID. Working from home, I tried to really focus on home decor and renovations at home to make my space more cozy. So you'll see that as I carry through. But I basically made this little folder. It's just taking a piece of scrapbook paper, folding it in half, and putting some washi tape on the end so that I can fit some journaling cards in here with some of my annual goals and things. However, I took a lot of it out, so that it's not included. All right, let's see. So into January. This is just a example of my very first habit tracker that I set up here. I was tracking things like reading, watering plants, journaling, doodling, hydration, walking my dog, and things like that. But it's very simple. It's just the day of the month here, the dates, and then the habits up here, and then also tracking my Etsy sales, because I believe this year I had been trying to focus on Etsy. And then I tried to include things, you'll see it's almost like a scrapbook, things from my life. So for example, down here, you can't really see it, but it might make an appearance again. My same friend Carly, she actually designed my banner for my Etsy shop, as well as my logo and some tape here. Let me grab it really quick. So beautiful, that I had printed on Sticker Mule. So this is the name of my Etsy shop, and she designed this tape. It's so beautiful, from Sticker Mule. I think it was on sale like $9 a roll. It was pretty expensive, but I thought it was a great investment for a lot of the marble coasters that I sell. That's the tape that I use to close up the priority mail boxes, the small flat rate boxes. And then this journaling card was honestly, I think, a freebie from one of my Rifle Paper Co. purchases. I thought it was so beautiful, so I found a way to just tape it in. Is this the next spread? Yes, this is the next spread. So over here, you can see this is my first weekly spread, I think. Yep. in this journal, and I was playing around with doodling here, watching a lot of YouTube videos and playing around with my Tombow dual brush pens. And then also I cut out some letters from my Cricut machine and just put them in here as well. I've used, I guess, these stickers and my gel pens because when I first started with bullet journaling, I went kind of wild, of course, as always, and I bought a bunch of dual brush pens. I bought gel pens and my Pigma Micron in the 005, and I just set it up from Monday through Sunday for that week. And then as you can see, I also I guess, try to incorporate photos. So at the end of every month, I would take all of the photos from that month and I'd throw it on a couple of Word, I guess, pages and print it out on sticker paper. So this is my dog Bailey, if you haven't seen her before. She's such a cutie. And I guess this is into the next week in January, and there's more doodling. These are some, I guess, like washi type stickers that I picked up on Amazon that I think you can actually get cheaper on AliExpress, but I've never actually placed an order with AliExpress. But anyways, if you're interested in that, that's where I got it. And these stickers are actually just that craft brown paper that I featured before in, I think, one of my Hobonichi videos. I'll try to link that up above if you're interested in learning more about that paper. And basically I just used the Silhouette, is it Silhouette Studio? But basically their program, their free software, and one of their standard fonts to create these little check boxes or checklists that I just used my my Fiskars paper cutter to cut down to size, and I was playing around with doing that instead of drawing my own check boxes for every little task, and I liked that for a while. I actually don't know where those are. But I tried to use some quotes that spoke to me. So for this week, it was be the face of change and make a difference. That's always my goal, I think, in everything that I do. And my hope and overall picture of my career is that I hope to eventually get to a position where I can make a positive difference in the world. And then down here is just a piece. I saved everything. It's so terrible. This is a piece of one of the photos that I've cut down. It was my engagement photos. And this was, I guess I needed it to fit in some type of frame or something. And these were just the flowers in the background at a rose garden in New Jersey. So I just journaled a little bit about that. Is this the next one? Yes. So this one's a little bit different. I think I wasn't able to fit all the days of the week on this spread, so I went over into the following one. And once again, it's just a little bit of doodling. This was the first sticker I think I've ever made. I basically, because I didn't have all the software that I needed, I didn't have an iPad at the time and Procreate, so I watercolored, scanned it in, and then printed out on my Cricut machine. It honestly wasn't very good, but I tried. It was my first attempt, and I did get discouraged for over a year. But yeah, so that's that. And then these are just some post-it notes, I guess, sticky notes that I purchased, I think, at Kohl's, of all places. And then I have like this little pocket here to journal a little bit down here and talk about how grateful I was to be able to share my arts or my craft with the world through Etsy, or with the US through Etsy. And I was really grateful for the positive feedback that I was receiving at the time. So that's what I used this little pocket for. And then into the next week in January, you can see a lot of it's pretty similar. I have a pocket here that I don't think I ended up using. And I also created this envelope using my We Are Memory Keepers envelope, I guess punch board. I really do love We Are Memory Keepers items. And as you can see, these are just some of the things that I did that week or happened to me. So these are my pets, and my orange tabby that I talk about often likes to go for shoulder rides, and he's quite large, so I don't know if you can see, like, relative to my husband's head. I know the angle is also promoting the size of his head compared to my husband, but yeah. Pass into, I think, the last week in January. Very similar layout. Also, once again, playing with the doodles, trying to doodle the things that are actually in my house. So absolutely love orchids. So that was my attempt at an orchid. And then I bought a organic cat grass for my my little kitties. That's what this is supposed to be, and some succulents. And once again, just doing my to-do list and then including pictures of my pets and some of the things that I was able to craft. Over here, I tried to use my Happy Planner stickers a little bit and organize all of the thoughts that were in my head for some crafting projects. So some things were specific to my Etsy shop. A lot of the things didn't actually, I guess, end up being popular on Etsy. So for example, the A5 folders, I think I sold a couple sets of those. But if you're interested in learning how to make that yourself instead of buying them, I will put that in the card section up above. And then also just some craft projects. A lot of my friends these days are having babies, so there's a lot of like baby blankets in there. And then like I said, the theme, especially in the beginning, was about projects around the house. So another one of my many hobbies is to refinish furniture. I have this curse of finding beauty in a lot of garbage. So I do pick up a lot of used furniture and try to refinish it. So that was that list. So this spread is a little different. I think, to be honest, I messed up the sheets, and instead of ripping it out like I've done before, for sure, I decided to cover it up using some scrapbook paper. So it's a little hard to see here. But if you can see, I used one of my planner stamps that I picked up with these 5 little hearts for check boxes. I really like that this week, and I tried to use my gel pen to like mark off when I finished. But I always have like these little folders here, and then photos of just like food that we ate. Or over here, I watched some YouTube videos about organization using Dollar Tree containers. So I went to the Dollar Tree and I spent maybe like $50 on containers that week, and it actually helped a lot. Yeah, and this is my dog Bailey, and then just some note cards from my friends. And I also tried here to do a different method of tracking my tasks, but as you can see, I didn't do a very good job completing the tasks, so that didn't go so well. All right, let's set this one. So I'm going to skip then into April to show you something a little different. So this one's not as great, but it was another habit tracker that I ended up not really using, so I just covered it up. And honestly, the thing about habit trackers for me is like I don't need to come back 2 years later to see the things that I did and didn't do. I think it's best to help me as I progress through the year to see like in the next month maybe what I need to focus more time on. Obviously, I have a lot of things that I needed to do more often. But this is just a great example of how I took pictures from the month and tried to incorporate it with my spreads. I want to say I got a haircut here. That's why I took a picture, a selfie. And then my doggie has some pants on, and then this is her large lamb chop that she ripped a hole in that I've eventually sewed back up, but honestly, she doesn't even play with it, so I'm not really sure why I spent the time doing that. And then I journaled here about exploring. This is the year that I decided, I guess, that it was a goal of mine to try to support other small businesses as much as I could. So my friend and I bought matching clay palettes and like a painting palette set from Sylvan Clayworks online, and so I was really excited about that because it was a very expensive purchase. And then over here you'll see I had a picture of my matching wallpaper in my desk space with my 2021 planner that actually fell off the wall. So that was from Rifle Paper Co. Did not work out for me. I have yet to reinstall the wallpaper and actually decided to like against it, so I might use it in another space. But yeah, and then of course my orange tabby, Sebastian. All right, so then that brings us into this section here, and I just wanted to show you guys, I guess, how I really kind of made the best of what I had, or used my bullet journal for anything and everything in a day. So I wanted to make a bike cover for my husband's new, I guess, I don't even know what you call it, like a indoor stationary bike. And so I had a bunch of leftover fabric, and I needed to, as an engineer, pull all the dimensions and figure out what would fit. And so I kind of sketched it out in the background here. And then when I was done, I just covered it up with photos and stickers, and then like a little journaling envelope here. This is my other kitty, Sophie. I don't have as many photos of her because she's always moving and not as photogenic. But yeah, and then Sebastian loving his boxes, and Bailey. I thought this was really funny. I actually journaled about it, but we've taught her the command head down to like put her head down on her laps. And I didn't actually ask her to do this, but this is obviously me on a Zoom call for work, and she's laying her head down. That's so sweet. And then here, for example, like I said, anything and everything. This is once again that wallpaper that fell off my wall. It was just a scrap that I had, and Sophie. And then also just me like journaling about, my struggles with health during the pandemic. And then also about some of the hiking trips we went on. So we went to Bailey Arboretum out in Long Island, which was beautiful. I think you do have to pay to get into that one, but don't quote me on that because I don't quite remember. And just some photos from that day. Let's see. And then over here, this is just another spread of or example of the things that I love to do. So this is great. So I acquired this beautiful like sign. I'm not sure what they call it, but yep. So I just took a picture of that. I also purchased this. I absolutely love alpacas and llamas, so I bought this little planter for my succulent. Honestly, it's not great for plants. They keep dying, but I have like a succulent farm in my backyard. Not really. It's just like these turtles that I made in one of those like plant night type things on a date with my husband. They keep growing new succulents that I end up keep having to replace in the llama, but my orchids too. And then here, I think there's journaling about this. Actually, my husband picked these large trees up off of Craigslist, and they were free, but they came in like bags. They're massive. So I found them a new home in my sunroom, and had to buy like these massive pots from I think TJ Maxx and Bed Bath & Beyond. And then over here, this is a great example of a piece of furniture that came with my house. It was a hutch, and I spent hours over days to by myself repaint and refinish this whole hutch. So you can see here, it was more of like a whitewash wood, and then I painted it. I think this was with Annie Sloan. Honestly, when it comes to chalk paint, I usually mix my own shades because I'm not happy. I always buy especially with white, I buy a shade that's just too off-white, like too yellow. So I think I ended up mixing it with my Behr marquee like wall paint. But that was that. And I had a really hard time finding hardware. Honestly, I wasn't really too happy with that. And then I actually ended up replacing, I think, these top 4. But yeah, and this is my craft room actually. So you can see the tripod. I didn't even like make an effort to clean the space before I took these pictures. Yeah. And then, over here, this is a blanket that I made. In addition to planning and bullet journaling, I also love sewing and, like I said, home decor. So because all of my friends are having babies, I've made a lot of blankets over the couple years. Over here is a completely different type of spread. I used that same craft brown paper and just kind of ripped the little pieces, playing around with my gel pens again and just adding photos. I think I got a new pair of glasses. So I was taking a selfie to send to a friend. And of course, this is Sebastian. These are some of the pots that I picked up. That year I bought so many plant pots. I don't know. But yeah, so he was sitting in there even though he couldn't quite fit. I think he likes them better when he can't fit. It's one of Bailey's new toys. And then I often journal about how I prayed and asked during Christmas for a puppy and a dog every year until I finally got one. She was the first thing that I rescued when I graduated out of college and got my first job. Took my first paycheck to rescue Bailey, and she was the greatest decision, one of the greatest things I've done. So over here, just another example of how I use this functionally. Around this time in April, I guess I was setting out to to, I guess, organize my thoughts and put it to paper about how I wanted my garden to be laid out. Some of you might know I live in New York City, so there's not a lot of space available. And even if there were a lot of space available, I always try to organize my garden and plan out the type of plants that I want to include, so that I don't waste as much. I always tend to start a bunch of seeds and then end up with too much and then overcrowd my garden. So this was my attempt at organizing that, and this was probably take 5 of my garden. And then I think one key thing this year, so I tried to dabble with flowers. I started off with vegetables. I've now been trying to move into herbs and flowers. So over here, I kind of planned out a herb garden, which it's really funny. I mean, you can see there's just some random lines in some random shape. And my husband took this drawing and was able to dig out a hole and then line it with some granite stones. If I get a chance, I guess I don't have a photo of it. I will maybe do a video of that this upcoming year, because I'm so proud of the garden that he was able to just take this silly drawing and make out of that. And this is Bailey on our new patio chairs. And then peonies are my favorite flowers, so I think I journaled here or at some point about why they're my favorite flower, and it's because my grandmother, she really loves peonies and roses. So growing up every year, some of you may know peonies are very fragile. So they bloom and they're so beautiful, but the minute it rains or you have like a big wind, the petals drop. So yeah, so she would take me out to the garden every year and take photos with me. So, and she would make sure that I was dressed all like fancy. It was very sweet. So it's a very fond memory of mine. So I've been trying to grow peonies. They take a very long time to establish, especially because I used a root ball. I think I finally got my first peony, and this is a picture of it. So I was really proud of that. It lasted like all of 2 days. And then here is a great example of just like a lot of a lot of photos that I had taken and printed on sticker paper, some journaling cards I think I got from Minted that I had kept, and I just cut out the shape. I have some stickers here and some scrapbook paper. I did the same method of taking the tracing paper and drawing on that. But yeah, this is Sebastian. He likes going for like flying rides, so I was just journaling about that. And then these are flowers from my garden. I just cut flowers. I think that basically wraps up everything I have wanted to show you guys today. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed already, if you could please subscribe. This would give me a better idea if you guys enjoyed this content. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. And until next time, everyone, thank you so much. Bye.